this is Laquitha, and I wanted to discuss the short film Dancing on the Doorstep. This was written and filmed by Liam J.M. Wilson, and it takes place right at the end of World War II. The opening shot is a broadcast with Churchill on the radio announcing that the war was over and that the German armies had surrendered. And then we see a woman who is standing outside of her front door and looking out across the pasture down a winding road that leads to her home. And suddenly she sees a man, a soldier, who we assume is her husband, who had gone to war, and he is returning as this broadcast announcing the end of the war is playing. And so as they reunite, we're able to see all of the emotion that you would expect to see of two people that have been separated by not just time, but a very deeply traumatizing space for this woman who, she's there, and then he's in this a war where many people had lost their lives. And you're just kind of left to imagine what it is that he experienced. But in that moment, what you are able to see visually is the raw emotion and the joy of reconnecting. And a song comes on the radio and they're basically dancing, and you can imagine that this is something that they did prior to the war, maybe when they first met each other. And you as a viewer, or I know I as a viewer, was left just feeling happy that they were able to reconnect and they were kind of finding their footing and getting back to maybe not a normalcy, but a sense of reconnecting with one another. And suddenly she speaks up and says that she misses him, and then you're left to kind of realize that something is a little amiss. He never speaks at all during the entire engagement, but his face is very emotive, and you can tell that there's just so much happiness and a sense of fulfillment and contentment that he has in being back home with her. And after she says that, he does disappear, and then we're left to realize that he has not in fact returned home, and that he did pass during the war, and she was most likely aware of it, and just outside, just coming to terms with the fact that he was not in fact going to come home, even though the war was over, and this is the time when people would start to return home. And this was a way of maybe in a supernatural way or in her own way making peace with that reality. We hear a child inside the house calling her mother to come in, and we know that it's a full family. So that's where we're left at with the short film. This was wonderfully done. I genuinely did not even know that he might have been deceased because of the way that they filmed this and the interaction between the two. They were full contact dancing, kissing, and it never came across that he wasn't physically present. So I thought that was a wonderful, although heart-wrenching reveal at the end of this film. Check it out if you get a chance.